You did.
Did Deshaun impact that game beyond statistics?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, number one, in that situation with the conditions that you were dealing with, I mean, that's, as a coach, that's, you know, the scheme and all that stuff, you practice a lot of that, and obviously you can do some wet ball, but there's no way that you can truly emulate the conditions. You know, we haven't had a rainstorm like that to even practice in, and obviously we've got a nice indoor facility, so we've been inside a good bit during the rain. So, you know, I think not only protecting the ball, but also leading that whole offense out there on the field against a very talented group. You know, I felt like, you know, he did a great job, you know, leading them overall. And then I think, you know, using his legs, understanding when to run, understanding when to take chances, understanding when to get out of bounds, and making smart decisions. Some of his best plays are plays whenever we were covered and he threw the ball away, rather than trying to force something in there or you know, try to take off and run or something like that. You know, I felt like, you know, he did a really good job, and you know, and that's part of having no sacks also, as a quarterback that knows where to go with the ball, when to get rid of it. But you know, I think Deshaun, you know, did a really good job Saturday night with what we asked him to do, and we had 5 drops as well. You know, you can, you know, maybe if you're you know, sitting out in California looking at the box score, reading the line, it might not look like you want it to look, but I think anybody that was here in the stadium or watched the game on TV, you know, was able to see the elements that we were in. And then, you know, we had some guys that could finish some catches, and it would have helped a lot of our passing game and our numbers and those type of things. But we think Deshaun's right on schedule, and just like we told him before the game, there's not another quarterback in the country that I'd rather be going out getting ready to play this game than Deshaun Watson. And I think he's proven that.
On Ray's drop on the sweep, that one is an incomplete pass, obviously, but he didn't make a lot of mistakes in camp. What do you attribute that to? Was it the wetness, or was he just not concentrating? Was it more of a mental error?
I think, you know, as a young player especially, he got excited. You know, his eyes got downfield. You know, he was already trying to think ahead about where he was going to go with the ball. And something we always talk about is, you know, human nature. Human nature is to kind of take that catch for granted because it's just a short flip and to turn your eyes. But we really talk about that, and then especially the option pitches. Sometimes we get down the goal line and we pitch an option out to that wide out. You know, we really tell them, hey, secure the pitch with your eyes. Don't turn your eyes upfield. And that's really what he did there. And luckily for him and for us, he was able to learn that lesson on a forward pitch rather than a backwards pitch. But you know, that happens. He'll learn from that, and you know, get better with that. But you know, it was a good learning experience for him, and it's a good reason for us to pitch those instead of hand those off too.
Jeff, any concern at all that you do have a lot of young guys on offense? Any concern that with a big win like this that they don't lock into the rest of the season and say, you know, we've got a lot of playing to do?
Well, I think Coach Sweeney did a really good job before the Notre Dame game of preparing them for that. And, you know, because he was telling them all week long, hey, this is going to be a big moment, but it's only going to be a moment. And at the end of the day, we're going to be back in here on Monday, and we're going to be either 4-0 or 3-1. And it's really not going to mean a whole lot as far as the whole season. So I think by preparing them before that, and then also I think the teams that we have left on our schedule, I mean, all of our guys except obviously the true freshmen, they were down there in Atlanta last year, and they went through that, and you know, I think they know that we've got to play well against this team, you know, regardless of what the records are and all that going into the game. It's always been a tough game for us, but you know, I think Coach Sweeney does a good job of reminding our guys, you know, and it's, you know, it's a one-game season. And you know, just every game after every game, win or lose, Coach Sweeney tells the guys, hey, enjoy the game tonight, and the season starts tomorrow, and let's try to do everything we can to be 5-0. And I think our guys have really, you know, it's one thing to say that, kind of throw that out, but it's another thing when they take ownership in that. And you know, I believe that they have. Now, obviously, we'll see as the season goes. And you know, and we've reminded our guys too. I think it was maybe 2011, started off 8-0, and you know, so we bring those back up. Some of the guys that weren't here, kind of remind them of those opportunities. But you know, we've got a good schedule left in front of us, and you know, we're going to have to play well on you know, in all phases to have a chance to win those games. And so it's definitely something that we'll continue to talk about each week. But that's where you hope, even though they're young, you hope some of the maturity of those guys really in their focus and in their approach, and maybe learning lessons from the past would help.
Going back to Georgia Tech, when you're watching film on them and preparing your game plan, any particular players on that defense step out to you?
Well, to me, what I've watched, and especially early, I feel like their secondary is their strength. They got a lot of guys returning. I mean, all four of the guys are returning back there. Really good players, very physical in the running game, coming up tackling, and really good cover guys. They had several interceptions against us last year, and so I think that's a strength. And then, you know, they've got a couple backers that make some good plays. They can run, are physical guys, and got a couple guys up front that can rush. But you know, overall, we've got to study our opponent to figure out schematically, you know, what's going to work that week and what our approach is. And our players obviously have to watch the opponent to be able to see what they're going to do defensively and look at tendencies and how guys play. But you know, our big message Coach Sweeney's been very consistent on is it's about us. It's about our execution. All right, let's get our game plan down, and then let's go out and execute. And I think that's something our guys have really bought into. But they're definitely a talented group, and I mean, I think 9 of the 11 that played us last year and you know, shut us down a good bit last year will be right back here this year. So they'll have a lot of confidence coming in, and that'll be something good for our players. Have a little chip on their shoulder to play better against these guys this year.